Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our journey through comic book film with X-Men Origins Wolverine. It was premiered on May 1st, 2009. It was written by none other than David Benioff, and it shows with a screenplay by Skip Woods as well, directed by Gavin Hood. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And as you know, we're also, obviously, if this is your first time joining us, you wouldn't know this, but me and Joe are currently embarking upon Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, a show, one of the greatest shows of all time, show ran by, in part, David Benioff, the writer of this film. How you feeling about this one?
Wow.
How you feeling?
I guess with Game of Thrones, there's incredible source material that he had at one point, and then he was let loose. And then he kind of had to make stuff up on his own, still with the help of the source guy. This, there's a plethora of
there's a lot of source material,
incredible amount. I mean, in insane amount. And I'm not going to pretend to be super knowledgeable of the source material. I'm not really, but I know it's out there. And I know he fucked it up. Well, not for Wolverine.
Wolverine's not that bad, that poorly adapted by any means at all. The origin that they get to here with James being a little kid and his dad, quote unquote dad, killing his quote unquote dad, and that whole thing, that is accurate to a specific comic run from 2001.
Women, though, par for the course.
Very David Benioff. Very David Benioff of him to write a woman like Kayla in this movie, portrayed by Lynn Collins, who does a wonderful job. I like Lynn Collins in this movie. It's a shame that she was given such terrible material to work with.
Man. Damn, man. I mean, it could have worked. Very easily at the end. I feel like if she, wow, it's crazy how bad. I just want to get into just how shitty this ending was, because I was holding on, kind of this whole movie. I was holding on. I'm like, no, it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. Yes, some of this writing is pretty shallow and very, very surface level, and then whatever. But at least what we're seeing on screen is cool. And if I'm a kid, I'm definitely enjoying it.
You're having a
so I'm like,
time.
Okay, this isn't bad. This isn't terrible. And there's even
isn't bad might be friendly. Isn't terrible might be more accurate.
Mm-hmm. And then the ending plays out, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so it's his origin story. We need him to get the adamantite skull and, to become Wolverine, for good. But let's just make him fucking forget everything.
They have to. Man. It's part of the X-Men trilogy that he doesn't remember anything.
So is it because the movies or in comics it's based that he loses his memories?
Well, I believe there is accuracy to the comics that he loses his memory. Now, the reason they do it in this movie is because that is what the X-Men trilogy prior is dealing with primarily with Logan, is that he can't remember what happened. He doesn't remember much before he became this.
And it wasn't because of Professor X. I thought Professor X put some fucking mental blocks on him, like he did.
No, he was slowly helping him take the mental blocks down.
Oh, and helping
he was
him,
slowly
like,
helping him
Oh,
he needed him to remember on his own, so he didn't just show him everything, which is what the
read
whole
that one wrong.
conflict was there.
Okay, read that one wrong. Okay, then I guess it's
there's still a better way to go about it.
Yeah, I guess they are kind of tied a little bit, in where they have to end up. So, yeah, I don't know that.
Well,
that is
and
a
if
little
you're
more
that, if your hands are that tied,
but
on where you have to end up, it bears the question. We had this conversation recently. Should you have even made the movie?
I mean, they had a good thing going. They made a few X-Men movies, and they realized, all right, well, we got a talent like no other,
a powerhouse that people like and recognize. This guy will put asses in seats. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was pretty much all the thought that went into this. And they're like, all right, let's make this thing. And I mean that Hugh Jackman does great. He is Hugh Jackman.
No, yeah, he does a fine job.
He looks incredible. But like every time you start to like slow down and then get some substance or something fulfilling, it's instantly taken away. And on one hand, it's like it's bad for the viewer, but on the other hand, it's like exactly what Logan goes through throughout his life. Like if he dated anybody, he knows he's going to outlive them and they will die and like it will be over eventually, but he will continue, sort of thing. So like and like in this movie specifically, kind of like the farmer family, the old husband and wife on the farm.
Yes.
It's cute. It seems that they maybe have lost their son or something.
Yeah, for sure. Removed out, they're empty nesters, something.
It's
something.
Like, it's so cute, and then just Stryker comes in, just fucking snipes the shit out of them, and they're like, all right.
And there's nothing in this movie that I'm like, I don't get why. Like, I follow the logic that this movie follows at pretty much every turn.
Yeah.
It's just not good. Like, it's just not good choices to make, like,
it tracks, but it's
no, it does. Like a bunch of Wolverines, the core of Wolverine is that he is a tragic figure who's been through terrible, terrible shit and somehow continues to keep going. Like that is, and that's why I love Wolverine. He is one of the most resilient characters in all of comic books. And I think that this movie does a good job at portraying that. It does do a decent job at showing that he doesn't give up under any circumstance. He's got to keep going.
He did go through the worst pain anyone could ever experience.
Yeah.
And was it assumed that no one has made it through this before? Like it was like everyone that has tried this has died?
Yeah, for sure.
And I love how like I don't know, there's like a nurse and Logan says something to her like something quirky, something quippy, funny, and then she's like, no, like this is going to hurt worse than anything you have ever been through, without a doubt. Like there's no shot.
He says something about like I've been through worse, and she's like, no, you haven't.
No, no, you have not. And I think that's like, I don't know, it is perfect. Like this one cool-ish part of the movie. It's kind of like I grapple with this a lot. Is like it's cool but also cheesy at the same time. But like the killing of the animal, or like, or not seeing himself as the animal, versus having to embrace it sometimes, and give in to the rage and all of that. But
Right.
I thought that was kind of nice. Like if if the love story was handled a little bit better, maybe that could have hit a little.
It has the bones to be a perfectly fine superhero movie. That's the thing, is that even with what we are given, the bones it's set up, I don't even think it has the potential to be particularly good. It has the potential to be fine, and they still even fumble that. Like when it comes to the relationship between Kayla and James, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is his comic accurate name, but referring to this Wolverine as James is always difficult. It always confuses me a little bit.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm probably going to refer to him as Logan, but
yeah, that's all I have up here in my head is Logan. Yeah. James was very weird, and hearing Jimmy, from Liev Schreiber. What's the character name? Why do
Victor
I always
Creed?
Victor. I don't know. Does he have like a animal name?
Yeah, Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. Thank you. I don't. I can never remember that forever.
I'm
feel like
fairly certain that's who he's supposed to be playing, which is interesting because if they are trying to adhere to a continuity with the original film, Sabretooth is in the original films
as Liev Schreiber.
It's not Liev Schreiber, but the character is.
Really?
Yeah. And there's no thing about like, oh, we're brothers. Oh, there's none of that. And Sabretooth doesn't get his memory wiped.
Yeah, why doesn't Sabretooth from X-Men 2000 recognize his brother Wolverine? Interesting question.
No, and like that's the thing is that it's simple. They hadn't conceptualized them as brothers because they've never been brothers.
Yeah,
that's not a thing they do. So the choice to be like, instead of there's I guess. That's guess an emotional moment. It's supposed to be where they come together at the end and they fight Deadpool together. But even that is not emotional. I feel like you definitely could have pulled off something where they like, I don't know, grew up together. Like they don't have to be brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I will give it credit. Another opening sequence that was pretty cool.
That's
funny. It is just pure war, which sucks. But at least it's like a somewhat entertaining opening sequence to watch.
That's hilarious. I thought after Watchmen, it made it a lot more obvious just how fucking awful this opening credit sequence is.
Well, like I'm saying, at least it's not just like I don't know, it not like animated. Just like Like, the one that comes to mind is, like, the Raimi Spider-Man, where it's just kind of, like, going through the web and DNA. Like, that's cool. I do like that. But, like, this, where it gives you, like, background into the story.
That is cool. Yeah, Incredible Hulk sort of stuff. Yeah, that is...
I think that is kind of cool. Like, just having the idea that these two have been through it, literally every war. Like, literally.
That's fair.
I think it's like
the mechanics of it work fine. I think it looks like shit. That was more where I was coming from.
No, totally. No, it's terrible. I don't know. It kind of looks like like AI did it, but somehow in whatever year we're in,
2009. Yeah.
It is. It does look very.
That part, whenever like there was one that just kind of made me laugh out loud. I think it's funny. It's like it shouldn't be funny, and in a different movie maybe it's not funny to me, but the way that Victor bounds towards
on D-Day,
he's just crawling in that massive bear crawl, and then during the credit sequence, there's a freeze frame with him like fully spread out, and they put the credits up there, and I thought that shit was hilarious.
How do they do that? You know, was he on wires or something?
Probably wires would be my best guess, because I mean, like, if it's VFX, it's incredibly well done. But I mean, like,
if it was covering that much ground on wire. Like, imagine how that would feel. That'd feel kind of.
It'd feel fucking awesome.
That'd be odd. Yeah, that would be kind of sick.
No, and that's the thing is that, like, I know I'm talking terribly about this movie, and it's because it's not good. But it wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. Yeah. I remembered it being, I thought I was coming into a bottom 2 of our project so far comic book movie. And I didn't. We're looking at bottom 4, you know?
Yeah, we're still down there.
Oh, it's still bad. It's still bad. But like you said earlier, it's not god fucking awful. You know, like it's bad. It's very not good. But it's not the worst shit I've ever seen. And that's what I remembered it being.
I think it's also hilarious. We were talking that, like, this, I will never have any will or desire to watch this movie again for the rest of my life. Which is incredible to think about. A movie in which you never will turn your TV on and put on, like,
you'll never do that.
That's incredible. Like,
the only way I could even conceive of ever watching this again is if I'm doing a full rewatch of every X-Men movie ever again. That was the reason I watched it in the first place. And I watched this for the first time. I think COVID had just you know, put us on lockdown. And I was going to be home for 2 weeks at least. And I was like, fuck it. I watched the first 3 X-Men movies. I loved them. I love First Class. I know I like the other 2. I know I like Logan. I do not know how it all fits together. Let's go ahead and watch this. I want to watch all of them in a row as they're supposed to be viewed. And I watched this and I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And that was when that's when I was 20 years old, and I wasn't an idiot, but like I look back on the way that I watched movies and took in media then and thought I was, and I think like, oh man, I've gotten a lot better at that. So even then I thought this was terrible.
Marvel was also peaking.
Yeah, it's true.
Marvel was
they'd just come off their peak of Reign. Yeah.
So that, and then seeing this, like, after post Endgame, like, seeing this, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? You're gonna be like, this is the shittiest comic book movie of all.
It's horrendous. It truly is. It truly is bad. But yeah, like, that's the only, like, we talk a lot about rewatchability and how, like, you know, rewatchability isn't particularly important. A movie can be good and not rewatchable. I love when a movie is good and rewatchable. That's the best option you could possibly have. There's bad and rewatchable because of its badness.
Yeah.
And then there's unrewatchable because it's bad. And that's what this is. And that's a tough place for a movie to be.
It's rare because
I would say even some of the movies I have below it in our comic book movie project, the only reason it's above them is because I like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And he's not even enough for me to rewatch it. Insane. My last movie, Catwoman, I could 100% see myself rewatching that before this.
It's crazy how much is going for this movie. Like, Hugh Jackman, just incredible actor. Wolverine, not one of my favorite comic book heroes, but like, he's up there for me, and like very, very high up there for you.
Yeah, that's my favorite Marvel hero for sure.
Yeah. So like, it has so mumuch going for it, and yet we're like,
that's what's terrible, is it's such a letdown because there's like, that's what makes it hard to watch. Because like I said, it has the bones to be a perfectly fine movie. It has a lot of exciting X-Men characters. I love, and this is like the original, it feels like the original movie that was kind of like, oh, here's some cameos from around the universe and, you know, some other characters that, you know, Gambit, Blob, the likes of them, like kind of showing up and being in the movie a little bit, tertiary and stuff. And that's super fun. I like that stuff. And even that stuff isn't handled poorly. You know, like I think that the Blob stuff is not comic accurate, but it's super fun to watch. I think that shit's hilarious.
Okay. I had no idea who Fred or Blob.
Oh yeah, Blob.
I had no idea. I'm like, that dude's a unit. Like, what is his power? Just to be a unit? Like,
just to be an absolute fucking beast.
He punched a tank. Missile, bullet. What is that? What is that shoots out? I don't know. A rocket? I don't know what shoots out of that, you know? He just he tanked a tank.
Yeah, bro's built different.
You see, yeah, what the... You know, they had to infuse Logan with adamantium to make him indestructible. Blob just seems that he has it innately built in. Which I thought was hilarious.
Blob is... he originally appeared very early on in one of the first issues of Uncanny X-Men, like ever.
Good old Blob.
Long fucking time ago. Like an OG X-Men villain. And like, I think that part of the movie's fun. It obviously doesn't serve much of a purpose beyond like, what's he even do there? Like, it just kind of points him in the right direction to where Victor Creed might be. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that is.
And where Stryker's based and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing, is that like the fact that we didn't cover this movie the day that we planned on covering it is like it absolutely fucked me in terms of remembering this movie. It's so forgettable.
It is tough. It is
so
tough.
overwhelmingly forgettable.
The ending, the like supposed to be the most memorable part.
I had a tough time.
Remembering that.
And you
and
had
Kayla
just
I was
the movie.
Literally fresh. Literally minutes off of my watch. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, how did she go from saying, hey sister, I have to stay here. Go save the kids. I thought that from that moment that she just was found crushed under all the rubble by Logan. And I completely forgot that she had they had a moment together, and she literally had a moment with Stryker as well before she
sends him walking until his feet bleed, and then he keeps going.
Just all gone. Just didn't remember that whatsoever. Minutes after,
it boggles the mind how you can have a collection of talent here, like Hugh Jackman, Liev Schreiber. I like Danny Huston a lot. He plays Stryker in this movie. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
You know, he does, and like at the beginning of the movie, he's not a bad Deadpool, but obviously they are still afraid to do, you know, what'd you expect, yellow spandex or whatever. Like they're still afraid to do anything that is comic accurate.
Wow. Was this Deadpool something?
This Deadpool is like horrendous. It's absolutely fucking awful. I do like, and thematically, like I understand the whole like there's a line that Stryker says to Deadpool at the beginning of the movie to Wade Wilson where he says, you know, without that mouth of yours, you'd be the perfect soldier. So naturally, whenever he does all the shit, he removes his mouth. Like, of course, duh.
Fair enough. Whatever.
But but like that's Deadpool. That is Deadpool.
That's
his whole fucking thing is that he talks.
Yeah, that's his whole shit. And like he had some good lines at the beginning, you know, or whatever. Like, swords are memorable. You know, you bring some swords to your ex-girlfriend's blah blah or what, you know, whatever. And like he's doing his thing, and you're like, I was like, okay, like. We get a little Deadpool I've never seen before. Let's go. Yeah. I was getting a little excited, and then it just kind of turned
No,
into.
I mean, like, that's probably the single worst aspect of this adaptation. And the fact that it is a relatively important part of the movie
Yeah.
really fucks it.
Yeah, mutant killer. All of that was the whole point. For Strike, this whole shit.
My
Which
shot does
made,
come from a Deadpool shot, though.
ooh,
It's whenever he is getting like surgically enhanced and his eyes are
oh,
like, it's like a really cool horror-ish shot. It's only there for a second, but his eyes are like, you can see his entire fucking eyeball. His eyes are like stretched. He's laying down on the table, and you can tell, like, since he doesn't have a mouth, he can't express it, but he's like in pain. And like, it was
no
gruesome.
bueno.
It was,
Yeah.
it looked like straight out of a comic book, which is why I really liked it, you know?
Oh yeah,
And I thought that was it was an interesting shot, at least, because there's not a lot of memorable visuals in this movie. And that one stuck with me, you know?
It
So.
didn't stray away to be comic booky, this movie, to frame things up like a comic strip sometimes. Let's see. I had a few shots, some that were just funny. One that was kind of funny. One that was just beautiful was whenever they were up on their mountaintop home, and they're like, I don't know, it's first like Logan's just like out on the, oh, it's not even a porch. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, the front yard thing.
but yeah, I don't know, out on top of their mountain home. He's just looking out in the distance, and then Kayla comes out and joins him. It's just this like wide shot of their like silhouettes, and then the house, and the mountains in the background. So that was pretty nice to look at. And then it all kind of gets, it's like, it's all manicured anyways. It's all fake. It's like, fuck. Now I feel bad about it.
Yeah, no,
but it's all real, actually. And,
that's my thing, man.
I don't know
how my favorite scene is the brief moment of solace prior. You know, the reason he calls himself Wolverine, that whole interaction where she's explaining, the moon had
as Logan would put it.
Yes, the moon had a lover, and the lover left, and the moon knew she would never love again, et cetera, and what's that mean? It means Wolverine. I loved that little moment. I thought it was sweet. I thought that, like, it's not, again, we're not talking anything that's super comic accurate here by any means, but that's one of those examples where I can be cool with you not being comic accurate. If you have a cool little interaction like this, where it explains why he would eventually take that mantle and so on and so forth, like, I get it. That's cool. But to give us this one scene, there is one scene with Kayla prior to her getting killed off. They want you to think, okay, here's their entire love. One scene. They've been together. They love each other. He's been out of it for a while. We're implying a lot of history. We're not giving you a lot of anything. Okay, now she's dead. And you're like, okay, this is written by David Benioff. Cool.
Yeah.
And then they bring her back. She's not actually dead. Oh, okay, this is written by David Benioff. Cool. She was a spy. She was supposed to get in close with Logan, keep an eye on him. She was inside. She was a part of it all along. He's like, oh no, but I still forgive you. I still love you. This is and my line comes from him. It was real to me. I liked that line a lot too. I think Hugh Jackman performs it. Yep. Yes. It's performance. Like, it's not, there's hardly anything here line wise that I can go, that was just a good line. There's no, it's all performances.
Yes. Sadly does not play well for Kayla's character.
No.
Whatsoever, but it does sort of play well for Logan.
And that's the thing.
That is the D&D specialty.
That is the D&D special. If you're gonna have a woman in your story, use her to push a man forward. That is what you got to do if you're David Benioff.
Yeah.
So now we realize she was a spy all along, but wait, it was real for her too. Her love for him was so powerful that she wished she hadn't done this, and so on and so forth. Oh, great. You're forgiven. We're forgiven. I love you. Let's get out of here together. Psych, you're dead. Now you're killed again. We got to push this story forward some more because he has to forget everything. Do you know who she is? Nope. Not even like a lingering sense of maybe.
Yeah, they could have done something really cool there. You know, like wipe the memory, but like him be like, feel, you know, like
I don't know,
I feel like I recognize her from
yeah,
something. You know,
something.
like that would have been really cool. You
That'd
know,
have been
like
fine.
some like
It wouldn't have
love
been good,
and
but it would have been something.
it's
Like
easy. You know, love goes like is the only thing that went through this. You know, whatever. And it wouldn't fuck up the rest of the movies and everything like that. You know, if he just has this faint memory of someone and you know he walks on and he leaves anyways.
I mean, this gets retconned into hell. Like they completely disregard this movie wholeheartedly for the next couple Wolverine movies.
Yeah, they just try to forget that it ever even happened. They were probably
And I
like,
can't blame them. It's terrible. It's very bad.
oopsies. Yeah, and also love the moment that Kayla has out on the bridge, where Wolverine, you know, he gets out of the car and he's like, "All right, like let us through," and the guy's like, "Oh, do something about it." She gets out and like, it's like, "All right, guys, you know, let's settle down. We're all right." And it's like she's like, "Yeah, you know, it's called, you know, the just a woman's power of persuasion. You know, oh no, she's actually a mutant, and that is her power. It's not even
if she's
the
touching
woman.
you,
Yeah,
if
the
she's
one
touching you,
woman moment in this movie is not even a woman moment because she's a mutant, and it's literally her power. Incredible. At least she does get a bar in, you know, to Stryker at the end there, like telling him to keep walking till your feet bleed and then keep going. That's fucking hard.
it would have been specifically cool if she didn't keel over and die immediately after.
Okay. True. I was more thinking like, do you think she had this ready? Like she knows she has this ability that she can persuade anybody. And these two lines specifically that she says to Stryker get him to go forever. He will there's nothing he can do to stop if this persuasion is, you know,
to be believed,
and to be followed. So like in two lines, I mean that's a painful death, you know, slow, long drawn out. You either starve, die of thirst, or just exhaustion, you know. It's one of those. I just wonder if she like thought of this, or if this was on the fly. She's dying and she's like, "Fuck," you know. Just turn around, walk, keep going. I don't know.
I'm usually not one to harp on, you know, the logic of movies.
I guess this movie doesn't have much.
There is a glaring bit of, you know, why not sort of going on with Kayla specifically, where if you have this power and your sister is locked up by a man you have access to all the time, you're always around him. I don't know, man. Why not be like, let them go?
Stryker, literally give me anything I want.
Yeah.
Just by touching him on the shoulder. Yeah, that's wow. Insane.
So like, not only do they take away this character moment from her to be like, oh, she's actually a mutant, that's the twist, fun. You've now created a giant hole in the middle of this story where she could have just been a spy, and that would have been fine. You know, it wouldn't have been good, like I said, but it would have been better than her being a mutant with the ability to change the situation she's in.
Yeah, that's rough. Didn't think about that one.
No, I didn't until just a few seconds ago. Like as soon as you started talking about how she have this ready, I was like, if she had anything ready, she would have done a lot more. And that's on David Benioff and the other gentleman. I feel bad for blaming everything on David Benioff as he co-wrote this movie, but when it comes to the woman character, he feels like the easy target.
Wow, Skip Woods just feels like a comic. I don't know. That feels like a character. He's best known for writing Swordfish. in 2001. Good
Probably
day
didn't
to
write
die
much
hard.
after this.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm actually amazed. I'm amazed that HBO was like, yeah, we'll give you Game of Thrones after this.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't know George. They had like George R. R. Martin writing book. I mean, like there was that, but yeah, that's incredible to be like, all right, you're the guys. You know, you're one of them. We need your. Are they brothers or they're just
David
not-
Benioff and D.B.
always-
Weiss.
Yeah, I always think they're brothers for some reason. Yeah, wow. Just let's team them up. But you're one of the guys for sure. After writing this, that's what we know for sure. It was this a little. Let's see. Was 7 out yet? 2009. 7 came out.
Oh yeah, by like 15 years.
Oh yeah. Hello. What am I thinking? Was this? I think Wolverine was breaking in somewhere. And he just does a single claw through the door and slices the lock. He's like in stealth mode.
Yeah,
And I saw it, and it made me laugh. The only reason I put this down is because it made me laugh like out loud. Because like one, for some reason, his claws either look super good because they're just actual like real. They built
practical.
they're practical, yeah. Or they look so bad. Like, they look so bad sometimes. In the farm, in the mirror, dude, or like in the bathroom,
God.
they looked so bad. Him putting them in front of his face and like clawing them together. Like, I mean, it was.
They thought
bad.
they were cooking with that,
Dude,
and because that's the only reason you do a shot like that is if you think you are doing something. You know, like you're like, oh man, we really got this CGI claw thing figured out. No, you don't.
No, it was bad. It was not good at all.
And also, why? What? The first 3 movies came before, and all those looked fine.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
What happened here where they were like, let's get interesting. Let's get goofy with these claws. Let's do something different. What the fuck? Why?
Yeah, I forget. They've never looked bad before. And now they look terrible.
And we've watched them slowly protrude from his fist. That's not something that's new to this movie.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even. It goes back in time. I mean, they went full prequel mode. I mean, full origin mode. They're like, well, we're just going to
let's wind back the clock completely and make everything look worse too.
Yeah. But it's not my favorite shot. I just put it in there so I'd remember it. And be like, is this 7 inspired from the 7 shot, or like it? What is the 7 shot? Is it a knife cutting through caution tape?
It's a knife cutting through.
I know the Batman inspired shot. That's the one that pops in my head now, not the actual.
Morgan Freeman cuts through. I can't remember if it's caution tape or like an eviction notice or something like that. But it's like it's stuck over a door, and he slices down the middle of it. Like
okay. But then the last selection for a shot was whenever he goes breaking all the locks for the prisoners at the end. Just hands to the side, just running through, just chink, chink, chink.
Yeah.
Just breaking each one, letting everyone free.
Yeah.
And
see, like that's one of those things that I do like about this movie. I love that, Wolverine is a hero, like he is saving people. That makes it very, very fulfilling, I love the continuity thing where Scott despises Wolverine in the original X-Men trilogy, so he can't see that Wolverine's the one who saves him. So he's got his eyes covered the entire time, or else like when he grows up, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, you were the dude who saved me, and I love you."
Wow.
So like their adherence to continuity, adherence to continuity in some cases is hilarious because they completely disregard it in others, and I think that's so fucking funny.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, they're like, what the fuck? I mean, like, maybe maybe we got shot with adamantium bullets at the end there too. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
maybe whenever Wolverine gets put down, like we just get one put through the screen somehow. They wrote it so poorly that you might as well get your memory erased as well. I'd hope to get my memory erased on. I kind of want an adamantium bullet, or ideally just that Men in Black pin, and just go back in time to before I watch this movie.
Man.
But I guess it is better that I have been through it and
No,
just
yeah,
know,
I mean, it's
now
important
I
to
know.
watch bad movies, Like,
Mhm.
this is one of those movies that makes you go, how did anyone think that Thor Love and Thunder is the worst comic book movie of all time? Bro, I don't think Thor Love and Thunder is a great movie. I don't think it's even particularly that good, but it's not as fucking terrible as some of the shit even in the
Yeah.
comic book movie genre. And there are people who will adamantly tell you it's the worst movie ever made. And I'm like, you have not watched enough bad movies. So that's
And
why it's important to watch bad
will it
movies.
even
So you can
be
go,
bottom five?
no, that is
Like,
not the worst.
yeah, I don't even know if it'll be bottom 5 in
No,
our
I mean,
bracket.
like, as of what our bottom 5 is right now, I'd watch Thor Love and Thunder before any of those.
Yeah, and then like I haven't seen Jonah Hex. I have no idea how good that is.
I have not either. My money is bottom 10. That's where I'm
Okay.
placing my
I've
bet.
heard Green Lantern is comically bad. That's one
I'm
that
betting bottom 10. Yeah, we've got a fucking
So, like,
streak coming up of shit, don't we?
I feel like Thor: Love and Thunder might not even be like bottom 10 by the end of it all.
No, I mean, like, we've got like a fucking 100 movies here. Like the bottom 10 will be astonishing.
Hey, we still got Morbius, and that's another thing is that I will rewatch Morbius because of the meme, like I will actually go back to Morbius before X-Men Origins Wolverine, and it's actually tough to say which one is written worse.
Oh, can't wait to get there. So, but what?
Yeah, Morbius is bad. It's more just the dialogue. But like the story is somewhat bad, maybe. Yeah. This is. I mean, like this. At least on rewatchability, Morbius has one more in me for the rest of my life. I think. I might be. I think that's all I can handle.
Right.
I don't. I'm all. The counter is down to 0 on X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's Dunzo, I think.
Yeah, we got a nice balance coming up. We got Iron Man 2 next week. Not bad. Jonah Hex, no idea. Thor, not bad. X-Men First Class, really good. Green Lantern, shit. First Avenger, pretty solid, pretty good. I like it a lot. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance,
Hey,
shit.
who knows? Maybe we'll love it. Maybe we'll love it. Maybe it'll be.
No, that's my thing. Is like I can't really speak to Jonah Hex. Maybe I'm like, wait a second, why have I never seen Jonah Hex? So we'll fucking see. But
it's on, and then we got a pretty good run. And
from then on, it's pretty rare that we get just an abject fucking misfire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, yeah, and then
and frankly, probably not until Suicide Squad 2016 that it's like.
Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, all of these movies are pretty freaking good. I don't know about the Fantastic Four remake.
Oh, that'll be pretty bad. That'll be pretty bad.
That was one in there that kind of stood out. But then, yeah, Suicide Squad would be the next one. Yeah, I mean, all of these are looking pretty dang good. Or just, they're consistent.
Yeah, like, or they're fine, solid, or good. And some of them will be bad. They'll be poorly done, but at least they'll be enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like, this one's just bad and not fun to watch. I have I have a decent time, but not a fun enough time to ever want to watch it again.
And it was like, wait, okay. So in the X-Men movies that have already come out,
yeah,
Were there shots of Logan, like, getting the adamantium transfusion already?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So, like, how? Well, like, did it actually happen? Like, but this is the first time it's happening in, like, all its glory, right?
It was the first time we're getting the full scene. I'd be willing to bet, and
But the tank and everything was exactly the same. Is that just like, is this a comic?
probably just
tank?
either a recreation of the set, and we're getting it in its full fucking thing, or this sequence, arguably the best sequence in the movie, is directed and written by someone else.
Is it? You know that, or you're just taking a guess?
I'm taking a guess, but my money is that it's just recreated. That would be,
Yeah. I mean, it
like,
kind of stood out. I mean,
I'm pretty sure there are moments in the first X-Men movie 9 years earlier where he has flashbacks like this, almost a full decade.
Yeah.
So, and there are just flashes. It's nothing like...
Oh, okay. Maybe it's in the next X-Men movies, like the ones that are upcoming, that there's really flashbacks to this that I'm remembering, maybe. But I mean, that's a contender for my scene, was the whole transfusion. It was, I felt like, I don't know, it's kind of like Steve Rogers and his his super serum moment, but this one kind of, I don't know, it kind of even had a little more going to it, because at that point I didn't know Kayla was a spy and their love was real and everything, and like turn into the animal, and like he's literally like being destroyed to turn into an animal right here, and he's thinking of her but can't help but also think of his brother at the same. I don't know, there's a lot of emotions going on. Hugh Jackman just acting his ass off, like having to be underwater just convulsing, I think is hilarious. That he has to do that, and then just jump out full, just butt ass naked, and just kill everyone in the room. It's like, it's hilarious that Stryker is so confident, like, oh yeah, we'll get him, like we got him, like we shouldn't be worried. And it's like, well, you did just make him indestructible, like that was the goal, to make him this ultimate weapon that can't die and that is also indestructible. And you're like, yeah, no, we got him, don't worry, I have these 6 adamantium bullets, and I trust my shot enough, which I think is amazing, that like he alone was like, yeah, with these 6 shots, or however many he had, he's like, we'll take down the Wolverine,
Right.
I'll trust my shot enough.
Yeah, and he's like, the fact that this was like, this is how we wipe his memory, is that we shoot him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be a lot of science to that. Gotta be a hypothetical. Gotta be a guess, which is hilarious.
Yeah. And like, I guess you have Professor X come in at the end here, but like, he wouldn't be the one to do it. That wouldn't really make sense. So like, it has to be, I guess, this way. Yeah, I don't know. It is a little rough, just for him to walk over and be like, nope, no memory of this girl whatsoever. She means nothing to me. I'll close her eyes though, and then walk away. Act like I care for some reason. I guess he is a hero down deep in his heart. So that could be why, but I don't know. Logan, Hugh Jackman did get the clean sweep for everything, because
no doubt.
Even got my quote. And this was before the transfusion. I think Stryker was convincing him to do the transfusion and to become the ultimate weapon. And Logan says, if I come with you, I'm coming for blood. No law, no code of conduct. You point me in the right direction, and you get the hell out of my way.
Hard.
And I was like, all right, yeah. And man, goddamn, is he just looking good in this movie, man? He's got the whole look. Like, he's just like, he was made for this role. almost. It's incredible, like the how perfect this casting is for Wolverine. And I mean I think he the longest standing comic book portrayal.
Yes. 2000 to what will be 2024, 2025 with Deadpool 3.
That's insane.
Yep, 25 years as the character. Professor X, I think technically currently is Patrick Stewart because of his appearance in Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
But when Hugh Jackman's back on screen, it will go back to him.
Wow.
They Hugh Jackman and Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart became the second and third actors to portray a superhero in 4 consecutive movies. The same superhero in 4 consecutive movies: the X-Men, X2, Last Stand, and this. The first was Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool trivia around this movie that's more behind the scenes stuff. Obviously the X-Men Origins title was meant to be a series. They planned on doing X-Men Origins Magneto. They planned on doing X-Men Origins Professor X. And those two eventually got scrapped and merged into a much better movie, X-Men First Class. So that's exciting. I'm very excited to get to that one. But one of my favorite little bits of trivia, this is pretty random, is that there are only two actors as of this movie to have been cast in a Marvel Comics film without auditioning. No audition. They were given the role. Those two are Wesley Snipes as Blade and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
That's what I was gonna guess. He is kind of just built for that role.
Yeah, that's a match
even though
made in heaven for Ryan Reynolds.
They butchered the hell out of Deadpool here. The couple minutes he had as true Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's Ryan Reynolds. And the fact that, aren't they just friends in real life, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds? Or are they friends because of this?
I'm willing to bet they're friends because of this. And this kind of sprouted a friendship that grew. The actual friendship that came into this movie was Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber. It's why Liev Schreiber got the role of Sabretooth.
Okay. Wow.
They were homies, and they had been in a movie together like almost a decade earlier, and Hugh Jackman was like, we push each other in a really competitive way, and I think a rivalry on screen would come through in a very satisfying way.
Okay. Yeah, that was, I don't know, kind of there were somewhat, strong moments, like him, I don't know where they were, but Stryker was trying to find the adamantite, meteor site or wherever it landed, and they're in that, village, and Stryker's like, all right, well, we're gonna kill everyone now, or whatever, kill this guy, because he's not talking, and Logan's like, stopping him and saying, nah, this is not what we signed up for. There were some good moments, but then, I don't know, it was just always on to the next thing, and, never, I don't know, there was no substance to to anything. It was always just, all right, we're going along this journey, I guess, and even when it did slow down, it was all for nothing and fake anyways. And then, I don't know, it was just back and forth a whole lot.
I'm just reading through this. I'm reading through this trivia, and there's a lot of important shit in here. David Benioff wrote an R-rated script for this movie initially, and Hugh Jackman didn't see an R rating as necessary, so they tried to rework it down to PG-13. This was the script that was brought to the studio for X-Men Origins Wolverine, written by David Benioff. Gavin Hood was hired, and Skip Woods rewrote it based on David Benioff's script. Reworked it.
So this is a rewrite of a half of D&D already shit script.
Yes.
A rewrite of already.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, there's some. Chris Hemsworth auditioned to be Remy LeBeau, Gambit, prior to being cast as Thor.
What?
Would have been insane. During the rehearsal for the scene in which Logan wakes up and jumps out of the tank, Gavin Hood, the director, was trying to explain to the actor playing the Doctor what was going to happen, and Hugh Jackman grabbed Gavin Hood and slammed him against the wall to demonstrate what was going to happen. And Hugh Jackman didn't know this, but he gave Hood whiplash, and he had difficulty moving his neck for weeks.
Damn.
Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber are the only Tony Award winners. They've won for performances on the stage, theater, and they're coming into X-Men Origins Wolverine, which always kind of fucking kills me. My favorite bit of trivia, which I already knew and was excited to talk about, was that young James is portrayed by Troye Sivan, who is having a bit of a moment right now as a pop star.
I was wondering about that. I don't know. I'm not in the know, I guess.
Troye Sivan, I mean, like a very, very talented gentleman. Released a music video recently that was very, very provocative and very, very hot, if I do say so myself. But yeah, just I saw him and I was like, "Is that fucking Troye Sivan?"
Yeah. There are some weird like act like I don't know what his name, the guy who can just control electronics. I don't know like what his comic name is, but I just know that guy from Lost, Dominic
Dominic Monaghan.
Monaghan, yeah, I know him from Lost.
Dude, that's my man, Meriadoc Brandybuck. He's in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yes. I still haven't finished that first movie. God damn it! Like I'm pissed.
Fellowship of the Ring fucks, but yeah, he's married.
I start the extended version every time, and I never get through it. But I need.
He's actually also in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
he's the one who steps up and goes, cloning, dark science, things only the Sith knew. That's Dominic Monaghan. I like him a lot. He's the one who. Have you ever seen the interview from behind the scenes of it's like promo material for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going.
Have you ever worn wigs?
No.
Do you wear wigs?
No, I have not.
Will you wear wigs?
Yeah, like keeps going. Yeah, oh my god! I didn't know that it was like a blind.
He had no idea.
Like,
he was
obviously, yeah. I at first when I watched that, I had no idea. But then when I learned that, I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense and makes it so much better.
Oh, it really does.
But man, they're hilarious. But man, I do need to get through those movies. So I know him as I feel like I should know him as the Lord of the Rings character instead of a Lost character. But he was.
Lost is one of his top credits. Like if you watch Lost, that makes sense.
Lost. He is very good. But yeah, and then he's kind of reduced to a circus act. In this one, that Sabretooth just finds and kills. So that's cool. Yeah, just turning on light bulbs for a living, I guess, for $1. But
yeah,
damn.
Well, that's what's crazy is there's a lot of stuff around this movie that I love Dominic Monaghan, I love Hugh Jackman, I love Liev Schreiber. Liev Schreiber obviously recently joining the Wes Anderson lexicon, which made him very, very exciting to see again.
Okay.
Asteroid City, French Dispatch, Isle of Dogs.
Hugh Jackman could join.
Oh, Hugh Jackman could for sure join.
I didn't think about him in the West lexicon, but I need him. I need him in there.
I would love him joining the West Ouvroir. Yeah. It would make me very happy. But
what about Will.i.am? that was, wow. Yeah, we just have everyone in this.
Yeah, Will.i.am. I mean, we continue a long history of music artists being featured in the movies that we cover. David Bowie in The Prestige, Harry Styles in Dunkirk, Meatloaf in Fight Club.
Damn. Harry Styles again when we get to the Eternals, which will be kind of crazy.
That's true. And, will.i.am here in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Troye Sivan in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, we got a double up there. So,
wow.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of music artists that have popped in and popped out of our movie coverage here. But, nah, man. Do you have anything else? Are we ready for a rating? Or Willie Nelson earlier this week in Thief. He was Oakland.
Yeah, it has been happening. Man, it is happening actually kind of a lot. A weird group of people, that's for sure. Like to make, if we made a graphic, like I'm just imagining a graphic of all
these characters.
Yeah. And it's looking kind of funky. Okla next to will.i.am, just specifically, I think is kind of hilarious in itself.
I'm making a list now that we can keep track of from now on.
How Harry Styles will have to be on there twice eventually.
Harry Styles
Dunkirk
and Dunkirk
and Thanos' brother. That incredible.
Yes. Incredible little detail there.
Trying to think of other people that will pop up in the future. Musical artists. Let's see. Yeah, no. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to look this up because we are nearing 2010. We are in is this 2009 still?
Yes, it is.
2009. I was going to look up because I know Tron Legacy comes out in 2010, and I was going to look up to see if there were comics to it, that if it technically was a comic book movie. I don't believe so. Yeah, no, it was just there are comics, but it did not start with comics. I was going to see if we could I was going to argue to slide it up.
Get Tron in here
as a comic book movie to force its way in here.
Force our hand here.
Then there would be some new musical additions. We could throw Daft Punk in there to show up because they do show up in the movie.
That's true. That's true.
In there. But anyway, I think as far as X-Men Origins Wolverine is considered, I think we've covered it.
We've ran it dry.
Yeah.
But
where it will land will be interesting. Overall with all the four things considered, because enjoyment, I mean, a movie that we know we will never revisit willingly. We're scrolling down. Catwoman was at a 2.5.
Ooh.
I don't think it's not 2.5, you know. Like, even though I'm not going to watch it again, I think I was having a better time than Catwoman during the...
I'd agree. I would agree.
Superman Returns, that's a 3.75. So, would you rather take a long-ass, boring, kind of drawn-out movie, or what was this, like an hour... Yeah, hour 40. Okay, hour 47. Honestly, I don't know. We're getting closer.
Frankly, I'm looking at some of our enjoyment ratings for like Supergirl and like you said, that one we might have been friendly. So because my gut took me 3 here, but if Superman Returns is a 3.75, I think it's got to tie that. That's at least.
Think about what a 3 really means. That's like a 5 is middle of the road. That is 2 points below middle of the road for enjoyment. And like, for one, there is somewhat cool action in this. There are some cool shots. Like, there are some things going on.
I like Hugh Jackman. I do. I like Hugh Jackman. I like Liev Schreiber. That's enough to kind of propel it to 3.75 or 4.
And yeah, Supergirl's at a 4. Blade 2 is at a 4.5. I don't think I don't think we're in Blade 2 or that Superman 3, 4, 5 as well. I don't think we're there, So
No,
I do
yeah.
think it.
I'll throw it 4. I could get with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. A 4. Tying it with good old Supergirl. There we go. So wow, what a long title too. Origins Wolverine. Then I'm gonna copy that so I don't have to type that every time. Anyway, on to the genre.
It's fine. It's
The
not
action.
good.
Yeah, like the action. What? Yeah, I mean it's a lot of just war or taking down a helicopter or.
I'm going 4, 5
That would
in
be
that range.
just above Supergirl, but below Superman 3.
Yeah.
4 or 5? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't excel at anything. It just is.
It's
Yeah,
almost a middle of the road action movie,
Yeah.
like it's.
But just not quite.
No.
A 4 or 5. Almost middle of the road, but not fully there. Okay. Now adaptation. I guess Wolverine, the titular character should be the most important part of the adaptation. So like even though Deadpool is like god awful, like I don't think that should tank it like as much as if Wolverine
Intensely, yeah. No, like the origin is comic accurate to a comic titled Origin, called 2000. It was in 2001. It's grew up in Canada and high society. Basically, it was a very very wealthy family, and stuff happens, and that like. Now, he doesn't have Sabretooth as a brother. That's not something that happens. Kayla, I'm pretty sure, is a movie original character. Don't think that's anything that's ever been dealt with in comics. And since she was done poorly, hard to give it credit for that.
Yeah.
I'd say
Not much is done well.
No, I mean, like, if we gave X-Men The Last Stand a 3.5...
Oh.
We're looking at a 3.25.
So a little bit better than Supergirl. Supergirl is a 3.
I'd say that Supergirl didn't adhere to anything comic book wise that Supergirl was. At least this did.
You're right.
It tried something. It just failed miserably at a lot, I
remember, we were like, it was not even comic accurate to anything, and it was bad. Like, it was like a double whammy. Like, if you're gonna at least not be comic accurate, make it good for the movie. And I think, like, even though
this has a just the slightest bit more of that. Like, it adheres to the comic for the origin alone, and then pretty much everything after that is poorly adapted.
Deadpool, oh my god, I have to say it. I forgot. Whenever his head gets decapitated and his laser eyes are still going, and apparently his head falls perfectly vertical, fucking spinning.
True.
Like it literally is falling perfectly I thought that was hilarious. That they don't show his head falling in the laser, but like the implication is that it fell perfectly.
It's just doing this. Yeah, that's
in the middle and is just spinning while falling.
And it's not spinning particularly fast.
No,
it's just
if for real, if it was falling, it would just be in random. You would just see, just like
for sure
directions and shit. But no, it's like this perfect slow spiral. But yeah, okay. It's definitely down there though. Yeah, this is not going to shake out to be well. Critically, oosh. I mean, yeah, wow. We have to. I mean, the claws getting worse somehow. Have to ding it.
Absolutely. It's written horrendously. There is one thing about this movie that's decent, and it's the performances. And really, it's 2 performances, and those performances are Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber.
How much
And I
does
wish that was enough to
Yeah,
propel it
how
above
much?
3, but it's not.
Yeah, and that's Supergirl and Batman 66 are at a 3.
And now, I will pose this to you. We're dealing with movies that are 25 years older in one case and 50 years older in another.
Yeah, they kind of get a
Both
pass.
of which do so much better with what they are given and what they have to offer. I would say we are going 2.5. I still can't put it below Catwoman.
Yeah, no, it's not Catwoman.
The editing isn't good, but it's like the editing in Catwoman was enough to make me want to turn off the movie.
Yeah, I like it 2.5. Wow, that's incredible. 2.5 critically. It's not often that you can give something to that we gave it a word. That's kind of nuts. I think I gave this a better score on Letterboxd, and that's out of 5 than we did out of 10 critically here. I think on Letterboxd I gave this. Oh no, I gave it a 2. Actually,
I gave it a 2 as well, which enjoyment wise would be a 4 out of 10.
So if all said and done, all of the ratings are in, it shakes it out to a 3.56 or a 36%, which on our it puts it barely above Supergirl. Yeah, barely above Supergirl, but below Superman 3 and Superman Returns, which will make it the 36th out of 38 that we have covered so far.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we are way harsher on this movie. I was astonished. I was blown the fuck away to look at IMDb and see it rated at 6.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
Melts my fucking mind. No goddamn way. That's insane.
Yeah. No. It's kind of incredible. I think if you usually we are nicer because it is a comic book movie and we are in this comic book frame of mind instead of like the director spotlight frame of mind. So the ratings are a little bit like I'd say inflated for that. I think this does the opposite. Like this is better if it's not in a comic book.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you just take this in a vacuum, I think it's even somehow better. I don't know. Like if
it's just some random fucking action movie,
yeah,
maybe it's tolerable, but it's not.
No,
It's terrible.
Still not.
Yeah, this got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes on the critic side of things, which we're a little bit closer to, but still lower than.
Yeah, saying Thor Dark World is worse than this is actually insane.
Nuts.
Like,
it's nuts.
That's insane. Just because there's some aliens, just because it's like a little out there, they're elves, it's like it's like, oh well, now we're lost. The ether. Oh fuck. We can't survive. Hearing words like that. I don't know what makes that movie bad. I'm still like, I don't.
Hey man, you're talking to the wrong guy. I love the Thor movies, so like, in fact, my least favorite Thor movie is Thor: Love and Thunder, and even that, I like.
What's there to complain about? There's Natalie Portman.
I hate being the contrarian who's like, well, I actually like. I personally think I do like Thor 1 and 2 more than I like Thor 3 and 4. I do.
Ragnarok is pretty good.
Ragnarok's good, man. I like Ragnarok. That's how much I'm saying I like Thor and Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
We've also got Kenneth Branagh and Alan Taylor directing those, and I'm a huge fan of both of them. Alan Taylor does a ton of Game of Thrones.
That's nice.
So it's it's another fun Game of Thrones crossover.
It is only 3 movies away. We only have Iron Man 2, Jonah Hex, then we'll be at Thor finally. So I don't know.
Beautiful.
That is exciting. That is exciting.
Yeah, I got to get in contact with Kyler in the meantime to nail down Iron Man 2's recording. But yeah, that'll be next Friday, and I'm very, very excited for that one because I think that's a drastically overhated MCU movie. I like Iron Man 2 a lot. Yeah, that'll be that for X-Men Origins Wolverine. Thank you very much for joining us today. if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of comic book reviews, movie reviews, book reviews, and the like. I actually did not a music review. Didn't really review the album. Couple nights ago, Andre 3000's New Blue Sun, I believe is what it's called. Yes, New Blue Sun released. It's his purely wind instruments album. And I was super excited for it. I was up at 11. I was high as fuck. I threw on the headphones and I just wrote for an hour and a half. It's 8 tracks, an hour and a half. So very long songs. Ooh. They're amazing. I'm very, very happy with it. So yeah, I just put the headphones on, was blazed, and wrote for an hour and a half, basically contemplating being.
Yeah,
that's there. If you want to spend $1.50, you can $1.50. You can go ahead and read that 2,000 word contemplation of being. As I listen to Andre 3000's New Blue Sun. And it's all tied together. I base every passage based off of like the song title, and that kind of takes me a certain place. It's like a prompt almost, and I kind of went with it. So it was a fun time. Credit to the weed for sure.
I dig.
But yeah, then head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to continue to download. Head to Letterboxd, follow at Penny Bloom Pod. Remember to keep coming back, as next week we continue our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, Winter is Blooming, where we get a little bit more David Benioff with Season 6, Episode 4, titled The Book of the Stranger next week. And I'm very, very excited about that. Then next Wednesday, we continue our Michael Mann director spotlight in anticipation of Ferrari. That'll be a lot of fun, because next week we are covering Manhunter, which will be it'll be a first watch for me. So I'm excited for that. A little bit of a serial killer thing going on there, and that's always entertaining.
Always love me a serial killer in movies.
Movies.
In cinema and in medium, not in real life.
But and then we continue this project next Friday with Iron Man 2. I'm very excited. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I'm going to end us off with a classic. Peace, love, and bloom. And I'm the best at what I do. And what I do ain't pretty.